Hi, my name is Terrance Vaughnson. I'm a fire recruit at the High Point Fire Department, and I'm here to read Kenny and the Dragon by Tony DiTerlizzi. The reason I picked this book is because, well, number one, there's a bunny on the back wearing armor, and since I'm still a fire recruit, that's kind of how I feel when I put on my turnout gear. But it's also just about a little kid with a sense of adventure, and I've always felt like that. Before I forget, many years ago, hold on, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking a book about a dragon should start with Once Upon a Time. But this one doesn't, because frankly, I don't really know what Once Upon a Time means. Now, I was once upon a horse, and that was fun. Also, I was once upon a knight galloping on his horse, but that's another story altogether. So instead, let me start our tale with this. Once upon a farm, in a town just west from yours, and on a Wednesday many years ago, a rabbit farmer, his wife, and their son Kenneth were preparing to sit down to supper. Now Kenneth seems a little formal for a boy's name, doesn't it? No kid would say, "Kenneth, can I borrow a pencil?" No, they'd say Ken, or Kenny, "Can I borrow a pencil?" And no doubt our Kenny would not even notice when they swiped it from his school desk, for you see, Kenny always had his head buried in a book. And he loved to read all sorts of subjects: science, mysteries, histories, and even fairy tales. In fact, fairy tales and natural history were two of his favorite topics, and as far as Kenny was concerned, both held the same merit in the real world. So it is not surprising that he enjoyed going to school. He always asked compelling questions, always did his homework, complete with footnotes and bibliography, and always had fantastic notions about what he wanted to do when he grew up. One day, he'd want to be an astronaut and meet extraterrestrials from a distant planet. The next, he'd decide on a jungle explorer looking for living dinosaurs. Or he'd build a submersible that could go deep in the ocean to find lost underwater cities. Each day, it was something new. "That kid has such an imagination," his English teacher would say. "His identification of local flora and fauna is quite impressive," his science teacher would say. "Kenny Rabbit, he's kind of out there," his classmates would say. And to a certain degree, they were right. You see, like them, Kenny grew up on a farm, and both his mother and father were farmers. They came from generations of farmers who grew vegetables and raised livestock. So his parents, like most of his neighbors, really didn't have time to read books. They were just too busy tending the farm. "You can't harvest corn with a book," his mom would say. "No bookie book's gonna bring the sheep in at sundown," his dad would say. Regardless of what they thought, though, his parents did their very best to support Kenny in all that he did, right down to listening to his lengthy theories on this and that over dinner. You see, Kenny would tell them, "It's going to rain because cold air and warm air collide in the upper atmosphere. This creates thunder, and it causes the moisture within the cumulus clouds to fall." "I thought it was going to rain because the cows are laying down," his dad would reply. And most folks in town would have agreed with Kenny's dad. Hold on a second. What was the name of that town? I can't believe I've forgotten. It was near water, if I recall correctly. Dunhill? No, that's in the northern province. Meadow Falls? That's not it either. But it was a stream or a river. Round Brook? Yes, that's it. The town was sort of roundish in layout, with a brook running through the middle of it. Goodness, I can't believe I'd almost forgotten. Not something a fellow in my position should allow. Alright then. So in the little farming town of Round Brook, Kenny lived with his parents, went to school, did his chores on the farm, and filled the rest of his time reading, which is precisely where we find him at the beginning of our tale. So again, my name is Terrance Vaughnson. I'm a fire recruit at the High Point Fire Department, and if you want to read this book in particular, or many others like it, come to the High Point Public Library, and it'll be here.